Midnight Hammer, the name sounds like a blockbuster movie, but on June 21, 2025, it became a very real U.S. military operation against Iran's most sensitive nuclear facilities. President Trump hailed it as a triumph of American power, but at what cost? And did it actually cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions, or merely punt the problem down the road? Meanwhile, Tehran's parliament has voted to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to choke off a fifth of the world's oil supply in retaliation. Today, we unpack the psychology behind these bold moves, the staggering bills racked up in the dead of night, and the hair-raising mystery of Iran's missing enriched uranium. At 6:40 p.m. ET on June 21st, 7 B-2 Spirit's stealth bombers departed Whiteman Ave, Missouri, on a mission lasting nearly 37 hours and covering over 13,000 miles round-trip. They flew in near total radio silence, supported by fighter jet decoys, tankers, reconnaissance planes, and a submarine firing. Tomahawk missiles as a finale. 14,300 LBGBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, bunker busters pulverized Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, marking the first combat use of these behemoths. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and General Dan Kane called it an overwhelming success, stressing the strike's focus solely on nuclear infrastructure, not regime change. BOTO bomber cost. Each stealth bomber carries a price tag exceeding $2 billion, with hourly operating costs around $135,000 per flight hour, factors that make every sortie a budgetary bombshell. The GBU-57's unit cost isn't publicly disclosed, but comparable estimates place it at roughly $500,000 to $1 million per bomb, meaning the 14 dropped could total over $10 million in ordnance alone. Logistics and support factor in tankers, fighter escorts, maintenance crews, and subsurface Tomahawk launches, and you're easily in the hundreds of millions for one precision raid. President Trump praised the operation on social media, declaring America as unmatched military might and hinting at regime change ambitions despite Pentagon assurances to the contrary. Is it ego trip or strategic mastery? With midterms looming and lingering fallout from the assassination attempt in 2024, a decisive strike paints Trump as the tough leader who dared to directly confront Iran. Its classic shock and PR for the home crowd. Was the gamble worth it? Militarily, perhaps it degraded fixed facilities. Politically, it distracted from domestic woes and cemented Trump's America First brand, yet it also risked a wider regional conflagration. Tracking mystery. Where did 408 kilograms uranium go? Iran had stockpiled some 408 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%, just shy of weapons grade. While the bombs flattened centrifuge halls, it's far from clear what happened to that material. Secret relocations. Analysts suspect Tehran spirited away enriched uranium and centrifuges to undisclosed underground sites before the raid, exploiting gaps left by pulled-out IAEA inspectors. The UN watchdog admits it cannot currently verify the location of Iran's near-bomb-grade stockpile, raising fears the attack may have merely driven the program deeper into the shadows. In Tehran, MPs unanimously approved a bill to close the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point for 20% of global oil, though legally they lack the unilateral power to enforce it. On June 23, Iran launched missiles at the U.S. base in Qatar's Al Udeid, matching the number of bombs dropped, as if in a grim accounting game, fortunately, causing no casualties. Even the threat of a shutdown sent Brent crude spiking 6%. A voodoo tax on consumers who ultimately see higher gas prices, global supply anxiety. A real blockade would send oil prices surging past $150 per barrel, potentially tipping emerging markets into recession. Iran's bluff tests U.S. and Gulf Cooperation Council resolve. Do they back down or risk confrontation? Either choice carries massive stakes. The U.S. paid hundreds of millions for a one-night strike that might be undone by Iran's hidden stockpiles, raising the specter of mission creep and open-ended commitments. Trump's calculus, a penchant for dramatic gestures, a thirst for approval, and an intrinsic belief in bombs solve problems, underscored by his penchant for bombastic tweets. Supreme Leader Khamenei and President Pezeshkian must project iron-fisted defiance to retain revolutionary legitimacy. A theatrical vote in Parliament lets them posture without instantly triggering full naval war. Both leaders speak first to their home crowds, Trump to his base craving strength, Iran's clerics to a populace stirred by nationalist pride, irrationalities and laughable blunders. Billion-dollar kaboom vs missing uranium. Dropping bunker busters on a buried bunker is spectacular, but if the uranium wasn't there, you've essentially paid a fortune to demolish empty rock. Parliament votes to close a vital waterway they don't directly control, a bit like passing a law in Ottawa to shut the Panama Canal. Iran's "you drop 14 bombs, we shoot 14 missiles." Tit for tat reeks of schoolyard one-upmanship rather than strategic coherence. Re-engage the IAEA tag team tougher inspections with sanctions relief, and reboot back-channel talks in Oman. Fewer bunker-busting bombs, more nuclear deal. Realpolitik, smart deterrence, fortify Gulf shipping with international coalitions, not legislative dog and pony shows. Little-eyed navies patrol alongside Iranian patrols under a joint code of conduct. In the midnight hours, Operation Midnight Hammer lit up the skies over Iran, wielded by a president chasing spectacle and strategic payoffs. Yet beneath the roar of bunker-buster blasts lies a nagging question: did we fix anything, or just sow the seeds of the next crisis? Tehran's parliament may vote to blockade Hormuz, but real power lies underground and in back rooms of the IAEA. Next time, we'll examine how a revived diplomatic push might tame this nuclear mystery, and why the real hammer might be a pen, not a bomb. Stay tuned. Subscribe for deep dives on geopolitics and economics.